Hey, greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here, the Executive Director of the American Constitutional Rights Union, and welcome to another episode of Live Free TV. For those of you that don't know, recently I had the opportunity to go over to Normandy for the 80th anniversary of the greatest military invasion known to man. That was D-Day. I mean, maybe some of you people thought it was, the Greeks invading Troy. No, it was D-Day. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers and sailors were involved in this. And of course, back then we didn't have the Air Force. It was the Army Air Corps. But to be there at Omaha Beach, Utah Beach, Pond du Hoc, to jump in to a couple of the drop zones that were used by our men during that time period. Yes, I actually jumped into Normandy a couple of weeks ago. So the old paratrooper still has it. Feet and knees together, you'll be okay. It was such an emotional experience to see the people there in all of those towns, Carentan, Saint Marie du Mont, to go to Vierville, to go to Saint Mary Église, all of the cities all along that area. And to see the faces of the people, to see them dressed up in U.S. military uniforms, to see all of the World War II vintage equipment, Jeeps, trucks, half-tracks, everything, and vehicle parades all throughout these little towns and villages. It just struck my heart. And yeah, I got emotional, had tears in my eyes. And who wouldn't? Especially when you go to the American cemetery there that overlooks Omaha Beach. Some 10,000 who never came home. That's their final resting place, their final duty station. And so here I was on this incredible emotional high. And I come back to my United States of America, where chances are maybe on the news program, they spent 5 minutes talking about D-Day on June the 6th, while over in Normandy, it was a week-long celebration. But the thing is, all of a sudden, I am reminded about these protests. I hear about individuals that are saying we should have let Hitler finish the job, this anti-Semitism. Now, I want you to put this in perspective. We have people in the United States of America that are saying that Hitler should have finished the job. And I just came back from the 80th anniversary of D-Day, when our men hit those beaches, scaled those cliffs, jumped into drop zones in the middle of the night to prevent Hitler from finishing his job. Some of those men even went on to maybe liberate concentration and death camps. They saw the horrors of what Hitler was trying to do. And yet here in America, we have people saying that Hitler should have finished the job. Check out this clip just to remind you of the craziness and the foolishness that you see on our campuses all across the United States of America.
Protesters at Columbia University took over Hamilton Hall on the school's campus. A Monday deadline to disperse given by school officials didn't stop anti-Israel activists from breaking into the building and unfurling a banner reading Intifada, a term sometimes used as a call for violence against Jews.
The most remarkable scene that I saw was someone smashing the windows of the doorway of Hamilton Hall in with a hammer, almost like a scene from The Shining.
A harrowing image from inside showed a member of the maintenance crew trying to stop the group, but was unsuccessful before they took over the building. Columbia was closed to non-residents Tuesday.
Let's talk.
Columbia protesters apparently following the lead of Cal Poly Humboldt, where protesters at the Northern California school had overtaken multiple campus buildings a week ago while damaging and defacing them. Police made arrests and cleared out the buildings Tuesday. Protests escalated elsewhere around the country. Arrests surged with varying responses from different schools. Some tallies put the number of arrests at more than 1,000 nationwide.
I want you to think about something. The word Intifada, which is a call to violence against Jewish people. How is it that we got to the point, 80 years from Adolf Hitler and his final solution against the Jewish people, 6 million Jews killed, to now we have people saying the exact same thing in the United States of America? And again, this is during the time period of remembering the sacrifices that those men made to liberate an entire continent from that evil, from that tyranny. How do we get to the point where this is happening? How do we get to the point where we now have young people and some old heads also here in the United States of America going out with masks and touting an Islamic terrorist organization and taking over buildings, Joe? Now, I thought that was the pure definition of an insurrection. That's what the left is telling us.
Alan, I never thought that I would see this day. Never. And I'll be really frank with you, Alan. And by the way, hello, it is good to see you. Excuse my manners.
Yeah.
It disgusts me, and I don't understand this. I do not understand this, Alan. And I know I'm not alone.
Yeah, and the thing is that from a constitutional perspective, because that's what the ACRU is all about, the American Constitutional Rights Union, you can visit us at theacru.org. But to hear people saying that this is part of our freedom of speech, this is part of our freedom of expression, to go out and to protest in support of an Islamic terrorist organization that just killed Americans. Now, imagine this, going back to World War II. Would we have allowed people to go throughout the United States of America and cheer on Imperial Japan? Hey, you know, that Pearl Harbor thing was just grand.
Hell no. Hell no, Alan.
Let's go out, you know, Nazi Germany. We're all for Nazi Germany. You know, we support Adolf Hitler and all that he's doing. Would we have allowed that to happen? Oh, you know, yes, we love this fascist Mussolini. So how do we get to this point where now it's all of a sudden intellectually cool and you are at a heightened level of understanding if you're out supporting a terrorist organization? But really, you know, Joe, when I think about it, I don't think that a lot of these young people even know what they're out there yelling about, what they're out there supporting. And again, with mass face, I mean, first and foremost, in some municipalities and locales, you're not supposed to be able to go out and protest with your face being shown. But you came across an interesting clip that shows how actually, can I say it, dumb some of these young people are. Let's take a look at this clip.
How much do these protesters actually know about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? Let's find out.
Have you guys chanted from the river to the sea?
Yes.
Okay, which river, which sea?
The Sea of...
So you don't know that?
No.
And the answer was the Mediterranean and the Jordan. What does Hamas say their number one goal is according to their charter?
They just want to free Palestine.
It's to murder all Jews around the world. How many years did Israel occupy Gaza?
Late 1800s, the entire time.
Since 48.
It was actually under Egyptian control for the first 20 or so years, and then Israel actually left Gaza in 2006.
I'm shocked. Wait, they left?
Wait, what? They left? Yeah, they did.
They left? I didn't know that. Oh, yeah, we need to end the occupation. Well, they ended in 2006. Some of these kids might not have even been born in 2006. Isn't this hilarious, Joe?
Oh, dude. Come on. Okay. Huh?
So
I can't handle it.
So you're out there chanting from the river to the sea, but you failed the geography test of when you're asked what river and what sea. I mean, I know that. And so what's amazing to me is that we have these brainwashed young kids, and I guess it's these rabble-rousing radical professors and things of this nature that are having these kids go out and basically make complete buffoons of themselves, to go out and carry the flag of a terrorist organization, waving it around. And what is even more astonishing to me, Joe, is that if these young people had been at that concert where, you know, Hamas came into, they would have killed them. They wouldn't have asked any questions.
You bet.
They would have been raped. They would have been mutilated. They wouldn't have asked any questions.
No.
But now we have these same young people that are out protesting at the exhibit of October the 7th that remembers those young people that were killed at that peace-loving music festival. So here were young people that were advocating for peace that were gunned down, unarmed, and now they're saying, long live October the 7th. That's not freedom of speech. That's not freedom of expression. If anything, if you're an American citizen, that's providing material support, aid, and comfort to a terrorist organization. That's a felony offense. And if you are not a U.S. citizen and you're out doing this, you should be deported because you're supporting a terrorist organization. So why is it that we see the progressive socialist left? You know, if you are out talking about America being a constitutional republic, because if you hadn't paid attention, CNN is now saying that's a conspiracy theory, you're bad. If you are talking about petitioning your government for redress of grievances, if you want to exercise your Second Amendment rights, you're bad. If you are standing outside of a clinic where babies are being dismembered, you get an FBI raid. But you can go out and shout death to America. You can go out and shout intifada, have no clue. Probably most of these kids don't know what intifada means, but it sounds real cool. It rhymes, I guess, for some of them. And they think that's absolutely fine. 80 years ago, young American men lied about their age to go fight this exact same evil. And here we are today with young American men and women that are out there masking their faces in the same manner of the people that once upon a time in the combat zone shot at me, and now they are applauding this. Is this a failure in our homes, Joe? Is this a failure of parents and grandparents properly talking and teaching their children?
Yeah, you know, Alan, I do believe so. And even if it may be that it hurts to bring up past memories of wars and battles fought, if you don't teach it and you don't remind people, you're bound to repeat it. And it just seems like, I guess parents just wanted to be nice to their kids or grandparents, and they don't want to bring up this stuff. It's not the way to handle it, Alan.
No, it's not. And so, you know, you saw those kids, they're out there, don't know, you know, Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. I wonder if that exact same person had gone up to some of these young people at some of these rallies and say, on June the 6th, do you know what today is?
Huh.
Ask them, do you know where Normandy is? I mean, maybe they would have thought it was a department store or something. But if you ask them, where's Utah Beach? What happened at Omaha? I mean, and this, even while I was there, to hear the President of the United States of America say and refer to the Rangers who scaled the cliffs of Pointe du Hoc that they crawled. I mean, that vision is not what happened with them. Here are men who shot catapults and start climbing ropes, sheer cliff, 200 to 300 feet, while there are grenades being thrown at them, ropes being cut, and they fall down, then they shoot another catapult with another rope and continue to climb up. You know, those simple stories have to be told. And when those stories are not told, we don't pass down the stories of our Constitution. When we allow other people to come up and say, you know, America was founded in 1619 when the first slave ship arrived, then what happens on Independence Day? I guess the same young people going to go out and shout and scream death to America or others who have come here to our shores. So if there's anything I want to try to get across to everyone in this episode of ACRU Live Free TV, we can't live free if we have the enemy inside our gates. And that's what we're allowing to happen. And I think a lot of these young people are quite disillusioned. They are delusional. They're not well educated, as that clip showed. But somehow we got to break through to these young people. Let's show them the last clip, and then we'll come back and close out this segment, Joe.
Yes, we're all Hamas, pig!
We're all Hamas. What should have happened to that young lady? Arrest her and charge her with a felony crime. Because if you don't start holding people responsible and accountable for the things that they're saying and get them to understand the seriousness of that. Hey, look, if I'm on an airplane, Joe, and all of a sudden I stand up and I start shouting Intifada and I'm Hamas, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to land that aircraft at the nearest airport and I'm going to get arrested.
Yeah, you can count on it.
So why didn't that happen with this young woman? And you saw the little hand card they had behind them. Massacre. Massacre of who? See, the last time I checked, Israel is a sovereign nation. Hamas is a designated terrorist organization, a non-state, non-uniform belligerent operating out there. Gaza is under the governing authority of a terrorist organization. And oh, by the way, let me tell you how courageous the leaders of Hamas are. They don't even live in Gaza. They live in Qatar in, utter richness. But the thing is that if we are to believe now, and when I see this international criminal court coming out and trying to bring, crimes against Israel, if we're to believe that a sovereign state cannot protect itself against a terrorist organization, so what happens at the next 9/11 event that occurs in the United States of America? Are we not allowed to go after the organization once our intelligence agencies confirm who it was? What about the transnational narco-criminal organizations, which is called the cartels, but they're terrorist organizations just the same. They're non-state, non-uniform belligerents operating on the battlefield, carrying weapons and murdering and killing people, allowing terrorists to come across our border into the United States of America, allowing fentanyl to come into the United States of America and kill young people. What if someone stood up and said, I am cartel, I'm Sinaloa cartel, or whomever? Are we just supposed to dismiss that? So I want people to understand that for us to live free in the United States of America, we cannot allow people to take our freedoms, liberties, and rights and subvert them and pervert them to their own nefarious causes. Shouting that I am a terrorist organization, which is what that young lady said. We are all Hamas. I ain't. Are you, Joe? Are you Hamas? Are you Hezbollah?
No, I'm not, Alan. I am not Hamas. There's no mistake there.
Okay. So you're either an American, you're either a naturalized citizen here, you're either someone that is here on a green card, or you're a tourist. But we're not going to have Hamas in the United States of America, which means that's the Muslim Brotherhood. If you don't understand the history of the Muslim Brotherhood, just Google it and look it up. But we cannot live free with the enemy operating within our gates. And all of the unconstitutional things that we have seen from this administration, where they're allowing terrorists in. Just remember, 8 Tajikistan illegal immigrants found in New York, found in Philadelphia, found in Los Angeles. And what tipped off law enforcement? They were talking about making bombs. Syrian illegal immigrants who tried to use a truck to gain access onto Marine Corps Base Quantico, Virginia. And now we have people openly carrying the terrorist flag of Hamas and out shouting that they're Hamas. If we don't restore law and order, if we don't understand once again what it means to deal with a subversive threat, we will not live free. And that's why we have Live Free TV, to remind you that freedom is precious and we have to protect it. And the way that we do it is through our rule of law. Join us next time for another episode of Live Free TV.